Hey everybody, I'm Patrick Huey, certified financial planning practitioner and accredited tax preparer. And today I'm going to hit you with 3 things that I really think you need to get done before the end of the year. I know we're getting close, but before you pop the cork on that champagne, before the fireworks start, and before you hit that first verse of Auld Lang Syne, here are 3 things to consider. First of all, run a final income and tax projection. Year end is when those little financial decisions finally add up, and you really don't know until April 15th sometimes. But raises, bonus, Roth conversions, RMDs, capital gains, side gigs, you name it, it all adds up. So a year-end income and tax projection is going to help you answer questions like, am I about to jump into a higher tax bracket? And if so, do I really need to do that? Do I have some last-minute room for accelerating income or deductions depending on the bracket? Do I have room for a last-minute Roth conversion? Should I make charitable gifts? Here's a quick one on the charitable gifting. For those of you who make smaller gifts, less than $2,000 per couple, please keep in mind that in 2026, that deduction comes back for cash contributions, even if you don't itemize your deductions. So it may make sense, depending on the charity, depending on the gift, to wait a few weeks before doing your charitable gifting. Now, this tax and income outline, it's just an outline. It doesn't need to be some 40-page novella, but it does need to be accurate. So gather your documents, get your pay stubs together, because guessing is not a strategy, at least not a good one. But hey, somebody's doing these projections for you, right? You're able to gather your documents, send them off to someone, and they provide you a summary in a timely manner, right? Well, if not, that's a gap in your planning, and you'll want to try to address that, if not before the end of the year, certainly before April 15th. Of course, we've got resources to help. Reach out to me if you're not receiving the tax planning that you deserve. Number 2, before the end of the year, be sure to look at capital loss harvesting. Yes, even in good years, and this was certainly one of them, in strong markets, something in your portfolio is probably still down. And capital loss harvesting means selling positions that are at a loss, of course, in taxable accounts, not IRAs or 401ks, and then using those losses to offset gains, and in some cases, a limited amount of ordinary income. So you would then reinvest in a similar but not substantially identical investment to keep the overall strategy on track and to avoid violating the wash sale rules and completely negating the tax move that you just made. It's not about bailing on your plan. It's about using the tax code to your advantage. And too many investors focus only on performance and they ignore after-tax results. That's why loss harvesting quietly matters this time of year. Of course, this starts with knowing what you actually own. So I recommend getting an x-ray of your current holdings to see not just what you own, but where you own it. And there may be opportunities there, not just for returns, but for tax efficiency. Of course, we offer that as well. If you want to see what you own and talk about why you own it, we'll provide you with a complimentary x-ray of your holdings and a follow-up call. Finally, for 2025, let's check your cash holdings before the end of the year. Okay, cash is not the enemy, but lazy cash can be, especially when interest rates are declining. And as of today's filming, the Fed has made its 3rd rate cut this year. So interest rates on the short end are certainly declining. So there are 3 questions to ask yourself before the end of the year. How much do I really need in emergency reserves? That's number 1. Is this money earning a competitive yield, or could I do better elsewhere? That's number 2. And does any of this cash actually belong in my long-term investment plan instead? With lower interest rates on the horizon, leaving large balances in progressively lower yield accounts, that's like giving the bank a holiday bonus from your own retirement funds. So let's avoid that and make sure that your safe money is actually working for you still, and that your excess cash is aligned with your overall goals. If you're not sure how much you need to hold in cash, I've got an emergency fund worksheet that I use with clients to set a clear target. Enough to sleep well, but not so much that your future growth takes a nap too. If you want a copy of that, feel free. Reach out to me, send me a comment, send me a message, or email me at patrick@victoryindependentplanning.com, and we'll make sure that you get a copy of that worksheet. So year end is where someday I'll get around to it. Either it turns into actual progress or another year of missed opportunities. So these three moves, projecting your income and taxes, harvesting smartly where it makes sense, and putting every cash dollar to work at the right job, well, with those, you can head into the new year with fewer surprises and more control. Happy New Year, everybody.